Now, this is where things start to get a little different in the Showa era timeline. Because in the original timeline, the aliens managed to control King Ghidorah because he was defeated by Rodan, Mothra, and Godzilla. In this universe, he is killed by MonsterVerse Godzilla. Now let's say the aliens were managed to sneak on Earth and managed to recover King Ghidorah's body. This is where they discovered that Ghidorah was killed by Godzilla. With them, I could see them possibly cloning King Ghidorah. Instead of just cloning one Ghidorah, they clone 4 Ghidorahs. This is where things will start to get a little tricky. Because they know that Ghidorah can't beat Godzilla on his own. After seeing that Mothra, Rodan, and Godzilla will basically destroy King Ghidorah. However, they keep the other 4 Ghidorahs they keep the other 3 Ghidorahs secret from the humans and use only 1 Ghidorah. The humans will be caught off guard by this new King Ghidorah. And of course, just like the original timeline, humanity lets the aliens borrow Rodan and Godzilla. Godzilla, once he wakes up, he'll be very confused on where he's at. And of course, he'll be confronted by a new King Ghidorah. Godzilla will be very confused because didn't he bought Showa Ghidorah? He and Rodan team up again, but unlike the original timeline where Ghidorah once again retreats, Godzilla kills this King Ghidorah, kind of similar to how the way he killed the first one. And of course, the original timeline continues in this universe, where basically the aliens take control of both Godzilla and Rodan. This time they reveal their other 3 Ghidorahs, and of course, the Showa era Mecha King Ghidorah. Yes, they reveal Mecha King Ghidorah. Now, this is where the humans they'll start to struggle a lot. Because there's Godzilla and Rodan, and of course, the 3 normal Ghidorahs, and of course, Mecha King Ghidorah. Just like in the original timeline, they will break the mind control off of Godzilla and Rodan. And of course, they would team up, but this is where Rodan and Godzilla will realize that there's 3 Ghidorahs against them. Mothra will most likely come in with the help of another guardian monster. With the help of another monster, this time it's Angirius and of course the 2 larvas. Now the odds are in Godzilla's favor, because now he has the help of Rodan, Mothra, Angirius, and of course the 2 larvas. Godzilla would, with the other monsters, he would fight off the other Ghidorahs and kill them. And of course, once when they fight Mecha King Ghidorah, this is where Mecha King Ghidorah actually almost kills Godzilla in this universe. The adult Mothra sacrifices herself and saves Godzilla, making Godzilla bigger. Let's say his 108 meters stand. Now he's bigger than Mecha King Ghidorah, and also has a red spell ray atomic breath, and he flat out destroys Mecha King Ghidorah. And with that, we move on to now in Ebra Horror of the Deep. How will the events of this timeline happen? Well, let's say that Ebra gets slaughtered. He just gets slaughtered. And of course, the main villains, they wouldn't stand a chance against MonsterVerse Godzilla, so most likely it will just be incredibly short. So, yeah, unless they found the remains of Mecha King Ghidorah and decide to build their new weapon, a new, let's say, mechanical kaiju, let's say Mogira, and it attacks Godzilla and actually does a decent job of putting up a fight. But in the end, it gets destroyed by Godzilla. If anything, this movie would be called Godzilla. Yeah, so Ever Horror of the Deep, yeah, it just ends a lot more quicker, so, yeah. Now, what about Son of Godzilla? How the events of this movie change? Well, let's say that Godzilla still hears Manila's cry, like in the original timeline. Now, at first, Godzilla will not respond, but he would eventually go towards the island where Manila is at. Once he arrives, he sees the Macrosses attacking Manila, and seeing another member of, or a creature that looks like him. His father instincts will kick in, and Godzilla will go on to attack mode. You would destroy the three Macrosses, and of course, adopt Manila, but raise him as one of his own. I would say some of the events of the timeline would change, for where Godzilla, instead of being like a bad father like he was in Son of Godzilla, he would actually be a very loving and caring father to Manila. I would say Kumonga would not propose that much of a serious threat to Godzilla, so yeah. And the ending will probably be the same to the original, where Godzilla shelters Manila as the island is covered by snow. Now, what about destroy all monsters? This is where things get very interesting. I would say the vast majority of the time, the film will remain the same to the original timeline, where humanity was managed to capture all the monsters and put them on an island called Monster Island, and Godzilla would be very uncomfortable being stuck on an island. Where, unlike the original timeline, Godzilla's just like, whatever. This time, Godzilla's like, okay, why are you not letting me leave this island? When I need to leave this island to keep balance to the rest of the planet. This is where Godzilla would get very annoyed. And of course, once the aliens show up, the rest of the events of the movie will play out the same, except they will reveal their own King Ghidorah. This King Ghidorah is actually slightly larger than the original King Ghidorah. Let's say he's the same size as Heisei King Ghidorah. With the help of the other monsters, Godzilla would eventually kill King Ghidorah. And unlike the original timeline, Godzilla would make short work of the quote-unquote fire dragon. Yeah, it was just a UFO on fire, if anything. There was nothing special about that, so if anything, Godzilla would be the one to destroy the fire dragon. So, yeah. Now on to, in Godzilla's Revenge, it would just probably remain the same, if anything, except for Gabba would be more terrified to fight Godzilla because, well, it's freaking gigantic. So, yeah. In Godzilla vs. Ghidorah, this is where things will get a little bit more challenging for Godzilla. Because, well, he's fighting against a sludge monster, and, well, there's that. But I'm pretty sure eventually Godzilla would eventually defeat Ghidorah, unless Ghidorah was managed to grow to the same size as Godzilla. If that happened, then Godzilla would actually struggle here. But eventually he would probably kill Ghidorah out of the way the show era Godzilla was managed to kill him in the original timeline. So, yeah. Now, what about Godzilla vs. Gigan? Of course, Godzilla would probably make short work of Gigan, if anything. Gaigan could possibly still make Godzilla bleed. But with the help of Aang, here he is, like in the original timeline. Let's say that Godzilla's managed to defeat Gaigan, and of course, the new King Ghidorah. Now, let's just say that the aliens have been sneaking on Earth and taking samples of King Ghidorah's DNA. Yeah, if anything, this showa in this universe, nothing but clones of King Ghidorah, if anything. Now, what about Godzilla versus Megalon? Well, let's just say that there'll be no need of Jet Jaguar, and Godzilla could just actually handle both Megalon and, of course, Gaigan. Because, let's be real here, I don't think anything in the showa universe could even put up a challenge to Godzilla except for King Ghidorah. So, yeah. Now, what about Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla? This is where things finally start to get interesting. In Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the aliens are more smarter than all the other aliens. This is where they built their own Mechagodzilla, but instead of building him small, he is massive. He's basically the same size as Godzilla. And instead of looking like, well, this, obviously, let's say that Mechagodzilla looks very similar to the Ready Player One Mechagodzilla. Now, what about King Caesar? What about him? Will he be able to help Godzilla? Absolutely not, because if Mechagodzilla is the same size as Godzilla, what good is he in? Like, seriously, what help can he provide? Maybe he'll be more like a punching bag for Mechagodzilla. So, if anything, Godzilla would probably have to resort to fighting Mechagodzilla alone. Unless King Caesar can provide a distraction, and Godzilla can possibly use his red small Rayton breath and destroy him. Terror of Mechagodzilla, Titanosaurus would not stand a chance, and Mechagodzilla, well, he would probably still put up a fight, but the rest of the events would probably remain the same, just like the original timeline. So, yeah, I know this is really, really short, but if you really think about it, all the kaiju in the showa universe are too small to even fight Godzilla, except for King Ghidorah. He's the only kaiju in the showa universe that is literally the same size, or close to Monsterverse Godzilla's size. So if anything, he's the only one who can actually put up a decent fight to Godzilla. All the other kaiju, they're just too small for him to fight. And the answer is no, Godzilla will not reach his evolved form or even get close to his 2018 look. Now, I know what you guys are wondering, why is that? Well, there's not a whole... We don't see Godzilla consuming a lot of radiation, unlike in the other movies, because in the other movies, we actually see that Godzilla's consuming radiation and going after nuclear power plants. In this, however, we don't see that. So, yeah. Anyways, that's it for this video. So, I hope you guys liked this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this? Or what are your thoughts in the comments below? Anyways, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.